You can tell Studio Bones is having an absolute blast animating Mob Psycho 100. The creativity, the amount of unique imagery and animation techniques, not a single shot feels the same from the last, even after all these episodes. This episode of Mob Psycho 100 is easily one of my favorite of this season, and out of the series as a whole up till now. It had a little bit of everything that makes Mob Psycho what it is to me. The action was amazing, some of the best that we've seen. The comedy, on point. The characters and where they're going, you're getting the Reigen being Reigen charm, you're seeing the group trying to rise up against Claw, but we're seeing Claw is to not be messed with. There were so many nice close-up shots, and how each of the close-up shots for all these characters felt different from the last. They stylized them in a unique way to make it feel like when we were zooming up onto a character, the difference in style, it kind of matched their personality, and it didn't just feel like an artist kind of slapping down a filter and calling it a day. It felt like it actually was supposed to match their personality and behavior, their power system, and that's the attention to detail that I love. This week's episode, holy hell, this was fun. One of my favorite points in this series has to be in this episode where we have Reigen pulling one of the most Reigen moves I've ever seen. Reigen sees that with Mob, they might stand a chance. Without Mob, him being unconscious, they can't fight this. Like, they need to stay back, and he's ready to say, let's just wait it out. But we got a lot of positivity, a lot of people saying we have to fight. And when Reigen hears that his insurance isn't going to cover his office being blown apart, he rises to the occasion and gets everyone on board, and the negativity that could be there is swept under the rug, because Reigen wants to bring that arsonist to the insurance building, have the insurance building burned down because screw that company. Holy hell, there's been a lot of good Reigen moments. In this season, we've seen some amazing growth, but that has to be one of the most Reigen things I've ever seen. In the face of an apocalypse, we have to burn down the insurance company, make sure I get my insurance money, and take out Claw. Holy hell, Reigen, I love this man so much. The overall behavior of Claw, I have to say, the boss's positivity is something to fear. This man says to his soldier's face, even if I lost everyone, I still believe I could win. And because I have that positivity, I've already won. I'm already conquered the world. This man, in the face of anything, believes he can't be beat. That unwavering positivity is something to be feared, and when you see his ultimate soldiers and even some of his lower class soldiers are just wiping the floor with militaries and police force, like, how do you defeat that? Even if we had Mob at 100%, is that enough to take out an army? We don't know, we've never seen something like that, and that's what's so exciting about this part, is that in Season 1, I never really thought this organization was something to truly be feared. They were deadly for sure, but seeing where Season 2 is going, you're seeing this city destroyed, you're seeing Mob in an unconscious state. Like, how are they going to get out of this? And even when they do have Mob wake up, can he defeat people like this? Can he take one of the ultimates on by himself, but could he take them all on at the same time? Could he even take the boss? We don't know, and you see this plan that sort of seems like it's gonna work. They got people in different spots using telekinesis, people in the sewers, but you know, either in this episode or the next episode, it's gonna go to shit, and at the end of the episode it definitely does, and right now it feels like Mob has to rise to the occasion and fight back, otherwise everything's going to go out the window. This episode, especially when we get this muscle man, because we have Reigen being Reigen, hiding in the refrigerator, spraying people in the face with this perfume that essentially knocks him out, but every time he sprays this guy in the face, he gets more and more powerful. And you'll have these kind of like shonen build-up techniques where you're like, okay, he's getting powered up, Reigen will just be comical and just spray him in the face, but he gets even worse. And I love how Dimple just kind of takes over Mob's body. He's fighting, but because Mob isn't physically strong enough, he just can't defeat this sheer muscle. And then you see the bodybuilding club. And when I saw the bodybuilding club, I was actually totally expecting that just one of them would be strong enough by themselves to defeat this man. Like, I thought, you know, that's kind of what we were building up to. And we did get that, but it was kind of fun and an unexpected surprise for Dimple to take over their leader and just use his muscles to 100%. Because 100% real muscles will kick 100% psychic muscles any day of the week. This was some of the most tense situations we've seen in Mob Psycho. Surrounded by all the comedy, all the Reigen moments, Mob easily could die in this part. Like, it really felt like Mob was unconscious. Like, it was up to other people to keep him safe. Reigen has his kind of tricks up his sleeves, but there wasn't much he could do, and I love how tense they made this episode. how much it felt like there was a real threat at play. The city is being destroyed piece by piece, and as that's happening, you're seeing civilians not know what's going on. Dimple had to protect Mob's crush, and I'm sure Mob kind of shielding her, that's gonna be a kiss at the very least. That better be, I mean, that's a reward. That, like, even though Dimple did it, Mob's body was the one who protected her, so she better be at least giving him a kiss on the cheek minimum, but I expect a little more for what that boy's done for you. It was just so amazing to see the sheer destruction. It really does feel like world domination, apocalypse at play here. This boss, I believe, can do it. I believe in his positivity. I think this man is serious, that he believes he could do it by himself, and if he believes truly to that degree that he can do it by himself, the fact that he has so many soldiers, so many ultimate soldiers at his disposal, how the hell do you defeat that? And to enter into a final arc for the season, that's how you do it. Even better than Season 1's final arc, because it really feels like the stakes are at an all-time high. Mob really has to grow and really push himself out there, and it was goddamn emotional, intense. The animators went in, even when we're in the more basic scenes. I thought it was just such a creative way to move these characters around. The character models were sharp, they were shifting around the style so often. We're seeing characters legitimately terrified. We're seeing a bit of all the characters who will be relevant for this final stretch, and then when we get into that real final animation with the fight there, holy hell, this just had a smile, ear-to-ear grin, being like, this is Mob Psycho. It is intense, it has amazing action, the comedy's on point, but the characters are so damn good. Even surrounded by Regan being like rising to the top because he can't get his insurance claim, there was still real motivation, and you saw that these characters were believing in him. Some probably had their ideas of why he was suddenly changing his mind. But for the most part, you could see that even though Regan was doing something for selfish reasons and putting their lives at stake, he gave them the confidence to fight and really believe that they could beat Claw and they could overtake their boss. Cut off the head of the snake, the rest of the snakes are gone. They're gonna scatter away. And it was a good plan, but as the episode gets going more and more, you realize that plan, it can't succeed, especially because we have a couple extra episodes left in this season, so there has to be more. And the fact that Mob's finally awake, I'm really excited to see how he's going to respond, what he is going to do, if 100% positivity would be enough to defeat this wave of just horror, or if he would need to lose himself like we've seen in the past in order to counter this. Like, there's so many ways that they could go with this season in the final stretch of Mob Psycho 100 Season 2, and I don't know exactly where they want to go, and that's what's exciting. Even though you know you're going to see great animation backed by really thought out power systems and just fight sequences overall, you know the comedy's going to be there, especially when you got people like Regan or Dimple kind of tagging along and just saying lines that are so damn true. Hell, you kicked the episode off with someone literally saying that it's not fair for someone to have that ridiculous of powers. There's just these very funny and very natural spoken lines, but you know the overall story and where this world domination arc is going, it's going to be more than just a one-trick pony. We've seen so many interesting things in this episode last week, and I know that this boss, when we finally do reach the boss, which I assume it will be Mob facing him, you know something incredible is going to happen, and I can't wait to see if we're going to lose anyone. I can't wait to see if this will all work out or if some sacrifice will have to be made. No matter where they go, I really trust in one's writing at this point, because this was a damn incredible episode. This season was damn incredible, and we're not even done yet. There's so many interesting ways that they could progress this. I love how they visualize everything, even when there isn't that much animation at play. The way they'll stylize the art, it just leaves your jaw on the floor. The voice actors go in, the music goes in, the sound effects go in. Literally every little piece that makes an anime what it is went in this week's episode of Mob Psycho 100, and I'm gonna be surprised if manga readers aren't impressed with this episode. Sure, I've never read the manga, so maybe they left a lot of things out, or maybe this was a flawless adaptation. All I know is, in terms of visualizing what I think people wanted to see in a Mob Psycho 100 anime, this episode had to achieve it. Maybe I'm wrong, and you can correct me down in the comment section below, but I was just impressed with this episode. Visually alone, I think this episode could have been carried by the visuals themselves, but just mixed together with all these little character moments, and just the betrayal, the sabotage. Who the hell can you really trust? I don't know. But man, having Mob woken up finally and saving the day at the last moment, I'm so excited to see where everything's gonna go. Though it really is a Mob Psycho thing that you can transition in the same sequence to be holy shit, life or death, to this is hilarious, to right back to life or death, to what am I watching? Mob Psycho has this very interesting way of balancing so many styles in this unique package that it never really comes across as a comedy, it never really comes across as a shonen action anime, it never really comes across anything. It really comes across as Mob Psycho 100, and I think that's something to really praise, because yes, there's plenty of anime that do their own thing, but in terms of sheer style, in terms of just what the story and characters want to tell, there are so many funny things at play. The bodybuilding club has no right to be this interesting, but when I see them training in the middle of world domination, that cracks me up, but I also think that's totally their characters. And to see that one actually made them relevant in this episode, I love it. I love seeing what Mob does to these characters, how he inspires people despite feeling like he is weak himself. This is amazing. This season's amazing. I can't praise it enough. It's seriously phenomenal. Let me know what everyone thought of this week's episode of Mob Psycho 100. The sheer power of this ultimate group, the boss, seeing just wiping the floor with everyone, like, Mob's really gonna have his work cut out for him, so let me know what everyone's thinking of just this impossible situation, where you think it's gonna go down in that comment section below. Remember to leave a like if you did enjoy, and hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. But until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.